Hello students and namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and our today's topic is your standard 8th social science GSEB chapter number 5 natural disasters. Now students, disasters means what? Right, so disaster is a sudden calamitous means we have heard about calamities, right? So sudden calamitous event bringing great damage, loss or destruction, right? So many a time there is a lot of destruction happening naturally, okay, so which is known as disaster. Or many a times there is a lot of destruction or damage done due to man-made disasters also, for example fire, accident, right? So due to any reason, if there is a destruction, it is known as disaster. Loss or damage or destruction, it is known as disaster. So now when we talk about disasters, there are two types of disasters, right? Man-made disasters and natural disasters, right? So we have listened or heard about this many a times. So what are man-made disasters? So disasters which occur due to men, right? That is, as I said, fire, then accident, right? So these are the examples of man-made disaster. Then if we talk about natural disasters, so natural disasters are disasters which occur naturally, right? For example earthquake, cyclone, flood, right? So these are natural disasters. So in this chapter we will study about natural disasters. Now even in natural disasters there are two types, right? So first type is the disaster or disaster occurring due to the changes in the interior of the earth, right? So when there is a change in the interior of the earth, disasters like earthquake, tsunami and volcano occurs. And second type of natural disaster is the disaster which occurs or takes place due to changes on the surface of the earth. So such kind of disasters are cyclone, flood, forest fire, drought, etc., right? So our first part, that is, we'll see the disaster which occurs due to changes in the interior of the earth, and the first one is earthquake, right? So what is earthquake, students? So the weak upper crust of earth suddenly experience tremors. Now tremors means what? So tremors means shaking of the earth, right? So the weak upper crust means the layer of the earth, that is the upper layer of the earth which is known as crust. So the weak upper crust of earth suddenly experiences tremors either due to collision means what? Clash, either due to collision of plates. So as we all know that below the crust or the upper layer of the earth there are plates, right? And if there is a collision or if these plates clash with each other, right, then due to that there are tremors experienced, which is known as earthquake. Or due to the tremendous pressure in the interior of the earth. Now what is this pressure about, right? So many a times we have seen that due to earthquake, or if the earthquake happens, there are cracks formed on the surface of the earth, and from those cracks gases come out, right? So there is a lava inside the earth or a volcano inside the earth, right? And there are many a times gases formed inside the earth. So when this gases, right, we have seen the pressure cooker at our home. In the pressure cooker also, when the gas is turned on and when the vapor inside the cooker increases, then there is a CT, right, whistle, which blows. In the similar way, in the earth's crust also there are volcanoes, right? And due to it a lot of gases are formed inside it, and it needs space to come out. So at some places where there are weaker upper layer, so due to it the pressure of the gases, the upper layer of the crust gets broken, that means cracks are formed and the gases come out, okay? Waves or tremors of earthquake originate from its hypocenter. Now what is hypocenter, right? So in this picture you can see here on the left hand side, right, this is hypocenter, okay? Left hand side there are plates given, okay? So hypocenter means what? right? So hypocenter is the focus of an earthquake, right? See, this is the hypocenter, right? Here you can see this is hypocenter, right? Okay, so beneath or below the surface of the earth, from where the earthquake originates, right, that is known as hypocenter or the focus. Okay, then what is written over here, we'll see. Waves or tremors of earthquake originate from its hypocenter, which is deep below the surface of the earth. Such sudden shaking or trembling is known as earthquake. Earthquake waves are created from the epicenter. So earthquake waves are created from the epicenter. Now epicenter means what? So we have seen this hypocenter from where the earthquake originates, right? And then above that the crust or the surface of the earth is there, right? So epicenter means what? The part of the earth's surface directly above the focus of an earthquake, or the directly above the hypocenter, right? So this part is directly above the hypocenter, right, where the earthquake is felt first, and the origination point, right? Origination point is hypocenter, and above that the epicenter, right, from where the earthquake spreads. Okay, so earthquake waves are created from the epicenter. During the process of an earthquake occurs due to internal disturbance in the earth. Okay, the waves of earthquake spread outward from the epicenter. So here we have seen the picture of epicenter also, right? The point on the surface of the earth exactly above the hypocenter or focus is known as epicenter. So that we have already discussed. The intensity of the earthquake is felt the maximum around the epicenter, right? So as I've already explained, what is hypocenter and what is epicenter. So what is given over here, that the tremors or the earthquake, the intensity of the earthquake is maximum, right? So maximum earthquake is felt around the epicenter. The intensity of the earthquake decreases as we move away from the epicenter, right? The effects of an earthquake depend on the intensity of the earthquake. So if the intensity is very much more, right, if the intensity is too much, then the destruction will be a lot more, and at the place where the intensity of earthquake is less, the destruction will be less. We can measure the intensity of the earthquake and know its point of origin or hypocenter with the help of a seismograph, right? So what is seismograph? It is a kind of instrument which is used to measure the intensity of the earthquake. Now there are three main reasons for the occurrence of an earthquake. So what are the reasons? We'll see that. First one, earthquake caused by volcanic eruption, right? So when there is a volcanic eruption, then many a times due to that also earthquake occurs, right? Second one is earthquake caused by strike slip fault, right? So strike slip fault means what? Faults means the cracks, right? So strike slip fault means, I'll show you the picture and explain it to you. Okay, yes, here in the picture you can see the strike slip fault, right? So what does that mean? So here you can see the two blocks of rock, right? So ultimately these are the plane surface, right? So this plane surface, right, when they move horizontally or sideways, okay, so you can see here two arrows, right? One arrow that is moving towards this side, okay, and one arrow that is moving towards this side. So when there is a earthquake, right, these blocks of rocks moved sideways, right, or horizontally on either side. Either side means one going towards this side and another going towards this side, okay, of the fault plane. So due to this the earthquake is caused, right? There is a movement in the plates horizontally or sideways, and due to that the earthquake is caused. Okay, so that is strike slip fault. Now we'll see the another reason, that is the earthquake caused by subduction in an active subduction zone. So what is subduction? We'll see that. Okay. Yes. So subduction means what? So subduction is a geological term, right? And for in this subduction, what happens that the Earth's tectonic plates, right? As we all know that there are tectonic plates below the surface of the Earth. So this Earth's tectonic plates, uh, they start sinking under another. One plate starts sinking under another. So here you can see that this part is the lithosphere and even this part is the lithosphere. So one part of the lithosphere is going downward, right? You can see the arrow over here. So one part of the lithosphere is going downward, right? So what is given over here, that is one of the Earth's tectonic plates starts sinking under another, and when this happens we can get earthquakes, volcanoes, and the recycling of the Earth's rock take place due to subduction. So I hope so that subduction is clear. Okay, so ultimately subduction means what? It is the sideways or the downward movement of the edge of a plate, okay, of the Earth's crust into the mantle beneath the another plate. So one plate is, this is the plate, right? So one plate moves downward like this and the another plate moves upward. So this is known as subduction. Okay. The center of the Earth is approximately 6,371 kilometers from Earth's surface. Now the next disaster is volcano, right? So volcano refers to an opening in the Earth's crust from which molten lava, rock fragments, ashes, dust and gases are ejected from below the Earth's surface. So here you can see the picture of the volcano is given, right? And when there is eruption of this volcano, eruption means what? When the volcano comes out, right? So when this volcano comes out, you can see this part, right? This is known as vent, V-E-N-T. That is the opening from where the volcano comes out, right? So it is known as V-E-N-T, vent. So when this volcano comes out, as it is written, molten lava, then rock, then fragments, then ashes, right? All these things comes out, gases. So all these things comes out from the surface of the Earth. Volcanic eruption occurs due to four main reasons. So first one is high temperature in the interior of the Earth. So that we have already discussed that beneath or below the surface of the Earth also there is lava or the volcano, and due to which there is a high temperature created over there. Creation of the magma. So due to this very high temperature, more and more magma is created. Then creation of gases and vapor is there. Okay, so as there is very high temperature, due to that gases and vapor is created. Rising of magma towards Earth's surface, right? So these are the different reasons for volcanic eruption. The magma is pushed upward by the gases lying under the magma. So the magma is pushed upwards by the gases. So beneath the surface of the Earth there is a lot of gases, and due to that the magma is pushed upwards. Secondly, the water percolating through the cracks and openings of weak rock surface turns into vapor. So as during the time of rainfall or rainy season, the water gets percolated. Percolated means it gets penetrated inside the Earth's surface, and when this water penetrates inside the surface of the Earth, due to it the vapor is formed, because as we know that there is a very high temperature, too much hotness below the Earth's crust or below the surface of the Earth, and due to it this water turns into vapor. This vapor is full of pressure, right? I have given you the example of the cooker, right? So this vapor is full of pressure owing to lack of space. So when this vapor increases and there is no space for it, right, it tries to come out with a great force. So as we have discussed the cooker, right, when the gas is turned on and the vapor is formed inside the cooker, right, the cooker whistles. What is the reason? Because there is no space for the vapor inside, so it tries to come out with full force. So same concept is applicable over here. This vapor also causes magma to rise up. So when this vapor tries to come out, with it the magma also comes out of the surface of the earth, that is the crust of the earth. The gases present in the magma reach near the surface of the earth and erupt with a high pressure in the form of lava, ashes, gases, rock pieces of various shapes and sizes, etc. So this we have already seen in the paragraph above. And this is known as volcano. All these volcanic residuals means the remains which comes out with the volcano or the magma, come on the surface of the earth and form a mountain like structure, right? So that also we know, as and when the volcanoes come out or the mountains which are formed, that is formed just due to the volcanic eruption. Many times a small mountain like structure is formed. Why? Because there is a volcanic eruption over there. So slowly and gradually the volcanoes come out and it starts cooling and a mountain like structure is formed. If the amount of gases and vapor is more and the vent of the earth's surface is narrow, vent I have already shown it to you, so again I'll show it to you. This is vent, right? The opening part on the mountain from where the lava comes out. Okay, so that is known as vent. Okay, so yes, so what we are discussing, if the amount of gases and vapor is more and the vent of the earth's surface is narrow, then the eruption is dangerous. Why? Because we know that the gases, they have formed a lot of pressure, and if it doesn't get enough space to come out, so it will burst, right? So therefore it becomes very dangerous. But if the amount of gases is less and the vent is broad and long, then the molten lava comes out slowly and spreads itself on the earth's surface. So in comparison to the pressure, if the vent, that is the opening on the rock of the mountain, that is the vent is broader or larger, then the volcano can easily come out and it will settle itself. Okay, then further we'll see there are three types of volcanoes. So which are these three types of volcanoes? That is active volcano, dormant volcano and extinct volcano. So now what is active volcano? So active volcano is a volcano that erupts regularly or frequently, right? So such kind of volcano is known as active volcano. Next is the dormant volcano. So dormant volcano means a kind of volcano which doesn't or which has not emerged from many years, but it has the chances that sometime or the other time it can erupt, right? So that is known as dormant volcano. And last one is the extinct volcano. So extinct volcano is a kind of volcano which has not erupted from since last 10,000 years. So such kind of volcanoes are known as extinct volcanoes. Okay, now volcanoes are found at various places in the world. There is only one active volcano in India, and that is in the islands of Andaman and Nicobar. Volcanic eruption at any place or region leads to massive destruction in the local area. Okay, so whenever there is a volcanic eruption, so what happens? There is a lot of destruction happening over there. Okay, volcanoes have certain benefits too. So we will see that what are the benefits of the volcano. The fertility of the land increases due to lava. So the soil which is formed from the rock, which is formed from the lava, it is very fertile. The agricultural production is very good due to fertile land in Java and Sumatra. So Java and Sumatra are the islands which are situated near Indonesia. Okay, so these lands are very fertile, and the reason for the fertility of this land is because this land is formed due to volcano. Okay, as it is made of lava. So the potassium rich soil, potassium is a kind of a chemical. So the potassium rich soil from the volcanic residuals helps the farmers to obtain abundant crop production. Abundant means in a large quantity. The hot water springs in the areas of volcano have germ killing property and that cures skin diseases. So many a times if we go to some places, there are hot water springs. Hot water springs means what? That there are places where naturally there is a hot water, right? There is a depression like this formed, okay, in on the surface of the earth, and over there is a hot water, and which is natural, right? No one hots the means boils that water, it is boiling naturally. And if we take bath in such kind of hot water springs, then the germs, right, it has the capacity to kill the germs. So if any person or the people they have any kind of skin disease, then it can be cured through that hot water springs. At a lower depth from the surface of the earth, certain minerals like mercury, tungsten, tin plating, zinc, aluminum, etc. can be obtained due to volcano. The lava that cools down inside the vent of extinct volcano turns it into diamonds with the passage of the time. So with the passage of time, right, with the passing of hundreds and thousands and millions of years, from this rocks or the mountains we obtain coal, and also from that we can obtain the diamonds. The small rocks thrown out during volcanic eruption known as lapilli, which has been proved to be very useful as they can be molded easily, right? So this lapilli is a kind of a rock from which we can mold it or make any kind of shape, right? Things of any kind of shape can be made from the lapilli, and therefore it is very helpful, right? So now the next thing is tsunami. So due to volcanic eruption or earthquake on the sea floor means in the oceans or the seas, right, there is a volcanic eruption or the earthquake, and due to this volcanic eruption or earthquake, huge waves of the waters are formed, which is known as tsunami, right? So high oceanic waves are created, they are known as tsunami. They are high and have unimaginable length. So we cannot even imagine the height of the length, right? The height which is formed due to this tsunami, right? So the heights of these waves are so big that it can cause a lot of damage or destruction, okay? Then so here the picture is given about the tsunami and the waves also you can see, right? Then their length is approximately 700 to 1600 kilometers, okay? These waves travel with a great speed and force by the time they reach the coast. So as and when they are coming closer and closer to the coast, that is the surface of the earth, they attain great height and power, which causes a great deal of destruction in coastal areas. So due to tsunami, the coastal areas or the areas which are nearby the sea or the oceans are the most which are destructed, right? So those areas are destructed the most. It was witnessed on 11th March 2011 in Japan, right? So when this tsunami occurred in Japan in 2011, whole Japan was washed under it, right? Totally it was covered with water, okay? Further, strong and whirling winds also create big and strong waves. Once the storm, now whirling means what, right? To move in circular path with great force, which is known as whirling. So strong and whirling winds, right, like this in the circular path with great force. So whirling winds also create big and strong waves. Once the storm gets over, these waves become tall with a high wavelength which can travel great distances. Such waves causes a great deal of destruction in the coastal regions. Hence, they are known as destructive waves. At times, rock falls, ice falls, or underwater landslides. Underwater landslides means inside the earth, that is the inside the water bodies, right? Or under the water bodies, there is a bed, right? Bed means that is the land is there, a flat or a plain surface of the land is there which slides away. right? So that is landslides underwater, or slumps can generate great displacement of water to create a tsunami. So slump means what? So slump means to fall or sink suddenly, right? So many a times we have seen in the seas or the oceans there are some mountain type structure formed. When this mountain type structure, when they sink in the water, even due to that, high waves are created, and which is known as tsunami. Okay. Yes, so next topic is flood. So what is flood? That is the excessive flow of water in a river is called flood. So when there is a lot of rainfall, right, and the water gets accumulated together in the river and there is no space for it, so the water turns out and the nearby areas gets totally covered with water, which is known as flood. So in the picture you can see, okay, flood occurs due to two reasons: heavy rain in the upper course of a river, and if a dam on the river breaks, flood occurs in the low lying areas on the river bank. So these are the reasons for the flood. Okay, so these are some of the names of the river given and the flood affected area. Now next is famine. Famine, okay, or the other name for famine is drought, right? So what does that mean, right? Scanty rainfall. Scanty rainfall means a very less amount of rainfall, right? So when there is a very less amount of rainfall, it leads to the drying up of the ground water, and shortage of food and water is created, right? So if for many years there is a no rainfall, then the groundwater starts drying up. Even the ponds and the rivers also, they start drying up, and due to it scarcity of water is created. And when the scarcity of water is created, due to it no farming is even possible, so there is scarcity of food and water, and due to that a lot of people start dying, right? So such a kind of situation is flood, or that is known as not flood, that is drought or famine. Okay, the condition of famine occurs in case of scanty rainfall or no rainfall for 2 to 3 years successively. Successively means continuously. So for continuously 2 to 3 years, if there is a no rainfall, then the famine occurs. The possibility of famine is less if we plant more trees, right? So we have heard about the trees, right? The trees, they bring in more rainfall, so we should plant more and more trees. Okay, and due to that we can avoid famine or drought. Next is the cyclone. The simple meaning of cyclone is air which blows at a great speed, right? So sometimes the air which blows at the speed of 100 or 150 or 200 or 240 250, right? So it is a very great speed, and if the air moves with this speed, it creates a lot of destruction. Lots of trees get fallen, and if there are no pakka house, right, so even that houses gets destroyed. Okay, it can be called a storm or a whirlwind. The coastal areas of India experience cyclone every year. The eastern coast, that is the part of Odisha, then West Bengal, right? So that is the eastern coast. The eastern coast especially experience it every year. So every year there is a cyclone, right? The adjacent regions, adjacent means the nearby regions, also feel the effect of cyclones when it is at its highest intensity, right? So when there is a high intensity cyclone, the adjacent or the nearby regions also can feel the effect of it. However, these winds affect a limited area for a limited period of time only, right? So as it occurs frequently, so the some of the areas which are near the coastal area, right, they have prepared themselves against this cyclone. So now, as we can say that they are prepared, so this is a temporary process, but even though the destruction is a huge destruction or a loss is a very huge, right? So in the pictures you can see, due to cyclone the house is broken and everything is damaged or destroyed. Okay, Yes, this is the pictures of cyclone. Next is forest fire. So many a times we have heard or seen, recently we had heard about the forest fire taking place in Australia, right? Due to it there was a lot of destruction in the forest, as well as the animals and birds had also died in that. So what is the reason of forest fire? Why the forest fire occurs? So many times we have seen that during the summer season, right, what are the chances or the reasons for forest fire? During the summer season, we have seen that many of the leaves which have fallen on the ground, they are totally dry, and due to extreme heat of the sun, this leaves, as you can see in the picture also, these leaves which are totally dry, they catch a fire, and due to that the forest fire starts and it starts spreading. Okay, and another reason for forest fire can be that due to the friction created. Friction means whenever we rub our hands, we feel the hotness in our hand. Our hands become hot, right? So when there is a friction created between two trees due to wind, due to dry wind, when these trees they collide with each other, all right, and due to that also the fire can take place. So we'll just read out: friction between dry branches of trees and other factors causes forest fire. So other factors I've already, or other factors I've already discussed, that is the dry leaves. It causes a great amount of damage to the forest resources. We all know that how precious are the forest resources for us, right? And due to this forest fire, there is a lot of destruction, which is ultimately not a good thing for us. Okay, next is landslide. So here you can see that there is a kind of a mountain, right, and over there the land gets slided. That means there is a break in the rocks or the surface of the mountain, and due to that the low lying areas beneath it gets totally damaged or destroyed. So the sliding of large mass of rock material, soil, etc. down the side of a mountain or a cliff is termed as landslide. Two factors cause landslide: excessive rainfall or an earthquake, right? So if there is an earthquake, even due to that, large rocks from the mountains get broken and fallen, and due to that we experience landslide. For example, in the rainy season, the railway transportation in Konkan gets obstructed due to landslides. So Konkan is in Maharashtra, and there always during the rainy season there is landslides, and because of that the railway lines get disturbed. Okay, so that's it, right? We end our lecture and the topic over here. Your chapter number 5 is over. I hope so that my lectures are helpful to you, and if you like my videos, please subscribe my channel. It motivates me a lot, and thank you so much for watching my video.